I Urban AI strategic thinking media platform. Listen, I don't like having these I told you so episodes. That's not the point of this. But we gonna review, we gonna look at something that I said in the past about Joe Budden. Obviously, a man that I don't know, don't personally know, don't personally speak to him, never seen him in person, never talked to him. But guess what? Queen's Flip has. Queen's Flip, like the title says, has confirmed pretty much everything that I said about Joe and Drake. We got some clips to listen to. We're gonna listen to some clips and we're gonna get in this. But let me start from the beginning. Let me start from the beginning. I made a video. Okay, I made a video speaking on how Joe Budden wanted credit for the fall of Drake. Not 100% credit, but he wanted to have a hand in the fall of Drake. Okay, go to that video. It's people under the comments saying that uh I'm just caping for Drake. I'm crying. I can't let the fact go that he lost. I never say he didn't lose. I never said he didn't lose. But it's just people in the comments going in on me. Now, I made that video. I made that video speaking on how Joe Budden wanted the credit for, or he wanted a hand in the end of Drake. And I think it's gonna go further. I'm gonna make more content about this because this is gonna go further, y'all. This is not done. And you'll understand why I feel that way in a minute. This is far from done. Maybe Drake versus Kendrick isn't, or maybe Drake versus Kendrick is, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. Drake versus Joe Budden has just started. This is gonna be, or I'm getting ahead of myself. This could be a monumental beef. If this materializes into something big, and I don't think it'll be serious. I don't think it'll be serious, but if this materializes into something big, a back and forth between a rapper as big as Drake and a podcast personality as big as Joe, this could happen, especially once y'all hear what I have to say about why I feel this way. If this happens, it'll be monumental for the podcast game. It'll be monumental for hip hop. This Kendrick versus Drake has already taken a couple podcasts to the next level. A lot of people feel like Drake versus Kendrick is why DJ Academics was number one on the Complex hip hop media list. Some people say he wouldn't have been number one, or he without this beef, he would have been in the top 5 maybe. But his coverage of Kendrick versus Drake made him number one. Same thing with Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal was 13 on the list. They wasn't even ranked last year. They were 13 on the list because their coverage of Drake and Kendrick was exceptional, entertaining, funny, all of that. So this beef has taken podcast to the next level. This is going to be and I'm going to get to the point in a minute, but I just wanted to touch on this first. This is going to be a reoccurring theme in hip hop beefs. Now, the beefs got to be big enough, of course. They don't get any bigger than the one we just seen with Kendrick and Drake. Not going to be another one like that in a while unless they continue to go at it. But the hip hop beefs have to be big enough. But we're going to see podcasters picking sides. We're going to see podcasters aligning themselves. It's going to be a thing. Because look how this worked. This worked really for everybody. I don't, and let me not say nobody lost because, oh, you're a Drake fan, you're a Drake dick rider. Yeah, he lost. Drake lost the battle. But as far as his notoriety and definitely his revenue, he didn't lose. Trust me. Nobody lost. Everybody made money off this. Everybody got attention off this. Everybody got a lot of views off this. Hundreds of millions of views was generated. Hell, my page, when I talk about Kendrick and Drake, that's the most views I get. Little old me. So everybody ate off this. So it's gonna happen again. Now, the reason that I said Drake and Joe will be next. Listen, I believe when Drake album drop, there will be Joe Budden disses on it. There will be Joe Budden disses on it. It won't be direct. He's not gonna say, "Hey, Joe Budden, fuck you." But there will be shots at Joe Budden. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Okay, now back to the reason why we're here. Before we get into the two clips that I want to play of Queen Flips confirming what I've been saying from the beginning, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to an old video that I had, and we're just gonna play a couple seconds. Let's take a look at this. I spoke about Joe Budden sending messages to Kendrick Lamar. Not normal. And see, Joe is a genius in his own right. When it comes to media, when it comes to communication, Joe is a genius in his own right. He knows how to communicate with people. I spoke about him communicating with Kendrick. I spoke about him communicating with Kendrick in almost like a secret code type of way. Like he would say stuff and Kendrick will pick up on it. I spoke on that. Let me see where it's at. I think I know where it's at. I think it's around here. Let's listen. Let me be clear. Other people have said this too. Yes. Why did he specifically say the Budden podcast? Because Joe Budden projected that message to Kendrick. The way he said it was he projected it to Kendrick like a bat signal. Like, hey, nigga, do this. Okay, y'all heard that, right? He projected it like a bat signal. So he communicated something to Listen, man, Kendrick and Joe Budden, and I said this in another video, I just didn't have time to find it. Kendrick and Joe Budden were communicating to each other throughout this whole battle without directly talking to each other. That is what I meant here. I didn't have the time. I specifically said that in another video. I don't have the time to scroll through it and find it. I go live every day. I don't remember which video it's on. I've made a lot of videos in the past month. So I don't have time to go and find the specific one. But I said him and Kendrick are communicating. They're communicating to one another. They're sending signals and messages to one another. Joe not just going to come outright and say something. He's not going to say, Kendrick, this is what you should do. That's kind of what he said, but he said the only way Kendrick can win. But see, he did it in a way where he was kind of bigging up Drake. Look, now remember that, right? Remember what I just said. He gave Kendrick, okay, I'm going to say it this way. He sent a message to Kendrick but he did it in a way that was bigging up Drake. He was basically saying, oh, Drake is just this huge superstar. The only thing poor little Kendrick can do is talk about the allegations with young girls. He made it seem like Kendrick needed his help or needed the advice, or Kendrick didn't have the raw talent and the skills. He needed controversy. He needed some type of scandal. Y'all heard that. A scandal that Joe Budden perpetuated and gave more life to. No pun intended. Okay, do y'all see what I meant by that? Joe Budden was giving Kendrick Lamar information through his podcast, or advice rather, because this is information that we all had, or advice on how to beat Drake. He was speaking in a coded language almost. Kendrick is smart enough to pick that up. Guess who was else smart enough to pick that up? Queenz Flip. He speaks on it. We're going to hear it soon. I just want to lay the foundation, like I always do, to navigate and show us where we going with this episode. Only probably going to be 50 minutes to an hour. Either way, let me play that again, okay? The point that I'm making with this is that Joe Budden was communicating with Kendrick without communicating with Kendrick directly. Not only was he communicating with him, but he was sending him messages in almost like camouflage, okay? And he knew Kendrick was smart enough to pick it up. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. We're going to play it one more time. Kendrick, the way he said it was he projected. Brown mentioned that she and Drake, this is incorrect. Kendrick, the way he's, let me be clear. Other people have said this too. Okay, here we go. Why did he specifically say the Budden podcast? Because Joe Budden projected that message to Kendrick. The way he said it was he projected it to Kendrick like a bat signal, like, hey, nigga, do this. Okay, you see that? Hey, nigga, do this. Hey, do that. Do this. Try this. Now, cool, but I'm just a guy who makes YouTube. Don't believe me. I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos, man. Don't believe me. If I say something, you could find proof other places. That's what we're going to do today.
When I watched a video from a nigga.
Okay. I just want this visual. You know what? Okay. Here we go. Let's see what Queenz Flip has to say. We're gonna listen to two clips. This is the first one. Then we're gonna listen to another one. So remember the video that we just watched. I said, and that was, let me look up when that, I'm not gonna navigate away from the page again. Let's look up when that was posted. Oh, okay, that was 3 weeks ago. All right, so 3 weeks ago, I said Joe Budden is communicating to Kendrick. They're communicating back and forth. Kendrick is not replying. Kendrick is just doing what Joe is suggesting. Okay, now let's hear what his co-host, a nigga who personally knows him, and is around him several times a week says about him 3 weeks after I said it.
Joe, you seem like when I watched the video from a nigga that go from praising you and then you went from that to a nigga saying how much he love you, and then when you flipped on a nigga, y'all squashed it, then you came up here and read some of the DMs and exchange between you and him, and then you didn't, and then this happened. It's like you played the long game. When a nigga played with you, you played the long game. Played with you, pump it up. I didn't know.
Do y'all know what he's referring to there? If not, we'll get into that too. I spoke on that too. Pop that. I couldn't find the specific words that I said. That bothers Joe Budden. But I'm going to keep it going. I'm not going to interrupt no more.
You played the long game. When a nigga played with you, you played the long game. Played with you, pump it up. I didn't know. You played. You are cerebral.
Oh, wait.
You Professor X. You played the long game. So I had to like really sit down and say, because when the whole beef happened, man, and when Kendrick was dropping it on Tuesday mornings, they had a part, like it was just so shit. It's like some puppet master shit, bro. It's like the Illuminati. Like you a part of something. I'm gonna get that to the bottom.
I don't gain nothing from this, though.
You don't gain nothing, Joe, but it's you have everything that you need in life, but I think it's more about manhood and ego. You played the long game. I
lose more than I gain.
As long as a nigga that played with you and been funny with you have to feel it because a nigga thought he was on top, that's all that matter. Like, I taught you something. Take this. You became a part of that because you had nothing to do with it. You could have played like everybody else, just speak about how great the records was, but you started dumbing it down. You did a lot of shit. That shit started dropping on podcast day.
Yeah, they was playing around.
Well, that was both of them doing that, though. That was both of them doing it. Because he was dropping right after we left.
Yeah, that was ill. But he still was bigging up Joe. Like when they did the whole thing, who was the top three? I guess Adam said something. And then Drake texted Adam and said, no, Joe was up there. So he was still trying to show his respect for Joe, but Joe ain't taking his foot off niggas' necks. This nigga, I gotta watch this nigga. Anything I do to you, I'm taking you out. Say it, nigga. I'm getting cool with Ish. I'm getting cool with Ice. I'm taking you out, nigga, because you play a long game, and that goes to show your way of thinking.
Why do you think I'm
Okay, boom. He said everything that I said in that live 3 weeks ago, right there. That was it. Now we're going to break this down. But what I want to do first, I really want to play Pop That. I'm not though. Yeah, I am. Y'all know the part he talking about, right? We can just play that beginning part.
Pop champagne, they know the face and they know the name. Drop that pussy, bitch. Know it, bust it open, show me what you twerk with. Ass so good, need a lap dance. I'm in that, what you twerk. Being single, seeing double, making trip crib, and I'm picking up the keys to the bitch right here. It's on me, man. Fuck you. One my close dogs got three.
Is it Pop That?
What you twerking? Yeah. Don't stop. What you twerking? Being single.
It's not that. I got the wrong song. Which one is it? It's No Shopping. I knew it was a Drake and French Montana song. It's No Shopping. Is it No Shopping? Yep, it's No Shopping. Okay, so That might get me blicked. It's all good.
In vivo from the Dominican Republic. Over your we so rock. Word to Biggie will be pop. Word to the bird, I ain't never take a first shot.
You want to say it?
Now this is the issue right here. This is when it started. Listen how Drake start the verse.
Next time.
Listen how Drake start the verse.
Pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the nigga that you almost was.
Let's hear it again.
Pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the nigga that you almost was.
He's talking to Joe Budden right there. Let's hear it again.
And I never started. Pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the nigga that you almost was. I done seen a lot of shit and I done been in.
Next time.
Pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the nigga that you almost was. I done seen a lot of shit and pump.
You want to see it? Next time.
Pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff.
Y'all heard, I'm not a one-hit wonder. They know all my stuff. He was directly talking to Joe Budden. Listen, Joe Budden, you may not know this, Joe Budden is extremely proud of Pump It Up. When people make fun of that song, it bothers him. It bothers him. I'm from the Deep South. It's not really played in clubs like that. It's on video games, though. It's on TV shows. It's on movies. Every Hawks game that I've ever been to, they played it at least twice in the arena. They've played it. I've heard it at Braves games. Now, like I said, I'm from and live in the Deep South, so it's not played as much in the clubs. But up north, I know it's played in the clubs. There's like Jersey dance remixes to it. It's a big song. He's proud of that song. During the Rory and Mal days, they always made fun of Pump It Up, which was hilarious. It was hilarious. The jokes that they had about that song was crazy. Legendary episodes. Roasting Joe Budden, roasting Pump It Up. It bothered Joe. He would laugh because it was funny. And it was great content. And that was kind of a part of the show. Them clowning Joe being a, quote unquote one-hit wonder. But Joe is proud of Pump It Up. That is what Queenz Flip was referring to when he said he played with you starting to, with the diss. He played with you with the diss, starting the verse off like that. Starting the verse off like that. Starting the verse off like.
Joe, you seem like, when I watched the video from a nigga that go from praising you, and then you went from that to a nigga saying how much he love you, and then when you flipped on a nigga, y'all squashed it, then you came up here and read some of the DMs and exchange between you and him, and then you didn't, and then this happened. It's like, you played the long game. When a nigga played with you, you played the long game. Played with you, pump it up. I didn't know.
See, that's why everybody's laughing. They knew exactly what he's talking about. They know how much that bothered Joe. Why y'all think he brought that up? On 6 a.m. in Calabasas, where Drake said, he said, the lyrics don't come to me right now. He dissed Joe Budden. Why did he bring that up? Why did he bring up that specific song? Because that was the diss that hurt Joe Budden the most. And it's obvious. 6 p.m. in Calabasas. And you know me as a Chris bottle sender. Check picker-upper. I thought we looked out for one another. He's talking about Joe Budden right there. An issue that they had in a restaurant. And Drake ended up paying the tab or something like that, or sending Joe a bottle or something. And you know me as a Chris bottle sender. Check picker upper. I thought we looked out for one another. He was talking about Joe Budden. 6 p.m. in Calabasas. What's the other joint? It was on Scary Hours. I got to look it up. Diplomatic immunity. I've seen budding careers turn and sit around and talk about other careers, judging their peers. Knowledge from niggas who did not contribute to none of this here. Cover my ears, my security government's here. That was a Joe Budden diss and a DJ Academics diss. This was during Everyday Struggle. I've seen budding careers turn and sit around and talk about other careers, judging their peers. Knowledge, DJ Academics, from niggas who did not contribute to none of this here. Cover my ears, my security government's here. Why didn't Queenz Flip bring up that bar? He brought up the Pump It Up bar because that was the most hurtful bar. That is when Joe knew in his mind he was going to try and he wanted to be a part, or he wanted to single-handedly destroy Drake. That's why everybody laughed when he brought it up. When he brought up the pump it up, that's why everybody laughed.
Pump it up. I didn't know. You are cerebral.
Oh, wait.
You Professor X. You played the long.
That was the tipping point for Joe. The Pump It Up bar.
You played on game. When a nigga played with you, you played the long game. Played with you, pump it up. I didn't know. You played. You are cerebral.
Oh, wait.
You Professor X. You played the long game, so I had to like really sit down and say, because
when Drake said that bar, the long game began. That's what Queenz Flip is saying.
When the whole beef happened, man, and when Kendrick was dropping it on Tuesday mornings, they had a park, like it was just so shit. It was like some puppet master shit, bro.
Can't see. He said he didn't say. Notice what Queenz Flip said. Pay attention to what he's saying. He's saying it was some puppet master stuff. He didn't say Kendrick likes us so much that he wanted to drop the pod on Tuesday morning. They record Tuesday. They either record Tuesday later in the day or Wednesday. Kendrick Lamar was dropping his disses Tuesday morning so they could hear the disses before they recorded. Why y'all think he did that? Because he's seen seen Joe Budden giving him signals. Remember what I spoke about? Giving him signals, communicating with him through secret messages. And that was Kendrick responding, saying, okay, I'll drop my disses on Tuesday morning so I can make sure y'all can react to it. And the disses are brand new before y'all record. Pay attention. Let's start that part over.
I didn't know. You didn't, and then this happened. It's like, you played the long game. When a nigga played with you, you played the long game. Played with you, pump pump it up. I didn't know. You are cerebral.
Oh, wait.
You Professor X. You played the long game, so I had to like really sit down and say, because when the whole beef happened, man, and when Kendrick was dropping it on Tuesday mornings, they had a part, like it was just so shit. It's like some puppet master shit, bro. It's like the Jalou.
The Tuesday morning, the date of the pod. So they pod on Tuesdays. They record their podcast on Tuesdays. Kendrick Lamar was dropping his disses early in the morning on Tuesday. I even remember people saying, why is he dropping them so early? Why is he dropping them so early? Ain't nobody up at this time. He was doing it so Joe Budden podcast could have a fresh take on it. That was strategic.
Illuminati, like you a part of something. I'm gonna get that to the bottom.
I don't gain nothing from this though.
You don't gain nothing.
Look, he's doing it again. And do y'all see how Queenz Flip just batted that shit down? I don't gain nothing. You see how Queenz Flip just seen through that?
And Joe, but it's more. You have everything that you need in life, but I think it's more about manhood and ego.
Duh. Thank you, Queenz Flip, for see, nobody else on that podcast. They all know. They're all smart enough to know this. But Queenz Flip is gonna say it. Joe, I have nothing to gain from it. It's not about gaining anything, bro. It's not about gaining nothing. It's about getting your revenge. Cause this nigga said, pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder. They know all my stuff. That bothered Joe. Because he is looked at as a rapper as a one-hit wonder. He didn't like when Drake said that.
You played the long game. I
lose more than I gain.
What do you lose? What do y'all see what he does? Do y'all see how he's trying to downplay? I'm losing. What are you losing by beefing with Drake? You've been beefing with Drake for 7-8 years. What are you losing from it?
As long as a nigga that played with you and been funny with you have to feel it because a nigga thought he was on top, that's all that matter. Like, ha.
Exactly. It's not about gaining or losing nothing. Drake and Joe Budden, neither of them need one another. Neither of them need one another. They're in two different lanes. Joe Budden is a top-tier podcaster. Drake is a top-tier rapper. So y'all see how Joe Budden is using word, I don't gain nothing. Bro, that's not what revenge is about. People lose their life trying to get revenge. It's not about gaining anything. People spend money, spend time, risk their lives trying to get revenge. Getting revenge is only about getting revenge. Just what Queenz Flip said. As soon as he tried to play that card, I don't get nothing. That's not what revenge is about.
Funny with you, have to feel it because a nigga thought he was on top. That's all that matter. Like, ha.
That's all that matters. He called him out on it again. As soon as Joe Budden tried to play that card, I don't gain nothing. It's not about gaining anything.
You played the long game. I
lose more than I gain.
As long as a nigga that played with you and been funny with you have to feel it because a nigga thought he was on top, that's all that matter. Like, ha. I taught you something. Take this. You became a part of that because you had nothing to do with it. You could have played like everybody else, just speak about how great the records was, but you started throwing it down. You did a lot of shit.
He did a lot. He did a lot, and people wasn't noticing it. Queenz Flip just said it. He just said it. He's literally saying, Joe, you went far. When I was pointing it out, I was an OVO dick rider. I was a Drake stan. When I pointed it out, when I was like, damn, Joe's going hard. Even people who I spoke to in person, I told y'all before, I spoke about it before, people at my place of work, at my job, we talk about this all the time. They said the same thing. What? Joe Budden don't got nothing to do. He just giving his opinion. Bro, he was giving a very strong opinion. He did a lot. He was doing the most. And Queenz Flip just said it. A nigga who's by him during every episode.
You started throwing it down. You did a lot of shit. That shit started dropping on podcast day.
Yeah, they was playing around.
Well, that was both of them doing that, though. That was both of them doing it.
No, that was both of them. No, nigga. That was both of them. Oh, here, I'm gonna let it finish.
He was dropping right after we left.
Yeah, that was ill. But he's still
okay. Drake was dropping right after they left. So what, bro? They both was doing that. Okay, and so Drake was dropping once the podcast was over. Kendrick was dropping before. It's still the Puppet Master stuff. Drake responding to what he's seeing from Kendrick. And as y'all are about to hear, I know we watched this already. I'm just because I don't like talking in between clips like I'm doing now. That's why I played it all the way through the first time. As you're about to hear again, Drake still gave Joe Budden his props. Did Joe Budden care? No. Because even when Drake was giving him his props, all Joe Budden could think about was pump it up.
Still was bigging up Joe, like when they did the whole thing, who was the top 3. I guess Adam said something, and then Drake texted Adam and said, no, Joe was up there. So he was still trying to show his respect for Joe, but Joe ain't taking his foot off niggas' necks. This nigga, I gotta watch this nigga.
Nope. He sure did. And Queenz Flip called him out on it. He confirmed everything that I said. The secret messages was Kendrick. The pump it up bar. Everything that I said, Queenz Flip is confirming it now. And he's only probably confirming it now because the beef is over. Everybody on that podcast knows this. Queenz Flip is just the only one that will say it. He'll let Joe know, bro, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. And we're going to get into it a little bit more. One more clip because we're about halfway through. One more clip. And we're going to go deeper. But let's just let this rock. It's almost over.
Anything I do to you, I'm taking you out. Say it, nigga. I'm getting cool with Ish. I'm getting cool with Ice. I'm taking you out, nigga, because you play a long game. And that goes to show your way of thinking.
Why do you think I'm a...
Okay, y'all see Joe Biden put, whoa, why do you think? Blah, 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 blah. Bro, stop. You ain't never forgot. He's always wanted smoke with Drake. Once he if a nigga drop 5 diss records on you, y'all can't be cool no more. I don't know if Drake got the memo, but Joe Budden dropped 5 straight disses. We've already been over it. You can the video I played before. I go look at all the Drake disses that Joe Budden did 7 years ago. Making a Murderer. Afraid. Y'all know how much I like Afraid. I talk about it all the time. One of my favorite disses of all time is the Joe Budden diss on Drake, Afraid. He used his own voice and his own beat. Killed it. Crazy. He went crazy on Drake. Great diss. But that's where this stems from. And Queenz Flip calling it out. Now, all the people that was on my under my comments, they're not gonna comment on this. They're just gonna, they might watch this video, but they're not gonna comment on it. They're not gonna say, damn, Urban AI, you was right. That ain't how the internet works. I understand that. But like I said, Queenz Flip called it out.
Joe
told niggas what it was. And this is not me, y'all. This is somebody on the podcast with Joe. And this is a video I dropped 3 weeks ago. Joe Budden thinks he thinks that people are dumb. He thinks that people can't see what he's doing. But let's get into the second clip. We about 40 minutes in. Let's get into the second clip. This is basically the continuation of that conversation. Okay, Joe's trying to act like he's innocent. He's just and something else that Queenz Flip said. He said, Joe, you could have just talked about the records like everybody else. Joe immediately from the beginning, if you remember the coverage of this, from the beginning, Joe was acting like Drake had lost. From the beginning. He was acting like Drake lost. But let's get into this clip.
You play a long game, and that goes to show your way of thinking.
Why do you think I'm gonna help you take him out?
I know you're not gonna help me take him out, but I'm just saying, like,
oh, okay.
I went through everything. while being up
I
there.
don't think that my agendas be so secretive.
It do.
I don't think that they
to me,
do.
I think
Mel,
to
you think they do?
No.
Mel, come on, Mel.
I don't think they be
Mel, why you lying, Mel?
so secretive. I like Kendrick and Pusha and myself highlighting the culture part. I like the separation of. I like that shit that Mos Def said.
But you still
I feel like some of y'all out there, if it don't apply, let it fly. But there's just a lot of people out there that dudes like me feel like y'all can't ever say nothing to niggas that have this shit like in their blood.
But even after you did the culture stuff and Pusha did it, you still end up supporting Drake. So you support, if he was a culture vulture, you supported his culture vulture.
I'm not calling him a culture vulture.
I'm just saying
I'm not calling him that.
I don't think he is, but I'm saying if to whatever he was, a colonizer, whatever they say he is, if he was that, you supported that.
He's a product.
A product. Okay, cool. Now look what you did. You supported him.
You goddamn right.
And when the right moment came, you pulled the rug from under his feet.
Nah, I got off the wagon before that.
No, you're lying. Queen's Flip is right. Queen's Flip called you out on it. What I said in a video 3 weeks ago, waited until the right time. They were supposed to be cool. Even after the pump it up, all them disses, they were supposed to be cool. In the original Joe Budden and Rory and Mal podcast, Drake called them. Drake called the show. He called Joe Budden. He FaceTimed Joe Budden. He FaceTimed Rory. He's been cool with Mal even before Mal got on the show. But he FaceTimed Joe on the show. Him and Joe did a IG live together. They were supposed to be cool. But Joe never forgot about pump it up. And he waited like Queen's Flip just said, this not me. This not Urban AI, the small YouTube channel. I'm dumb. I don't know nothing. I'm stupid. This is what Queen's Flip is saying. Let's hear that again.
You supported him.
You goddamn right.
And when the right moment came, you pulled the rug from under his feet.
Nah, I got off the wagon before that. That's not true.
I don't think you did, Joe.
But I did.
See,
I did. I got off the wagon before that. I make it known post Scorpion.
Nigga, post Scorpion. Post Scorpion came out in 2018, dog. That wasn't that long ago. What you mean? This nigga be lying.
Not really my bad.
Okay.
And I tried to come in here and say, hey, you got to go on vacation for the dance album. Hey.
Listen, you got to go on vacation. What type of fucking advice is that to tell a nigga during the battle? Oh, you got to go on vacation. That's an example of what I'm saying. Even when he was giving his opinion, he always make it seem like Drake was losing. What type of advice is that? You got to go on vacation. So you basically saying I lost. You basically say, come on, man. That's fake advice. That's advice to create a narrative. And Queen's Flip is about to call him out on it again.
You gotta hold on to 20. Like I still tried it, but now it's just over.
Let me ask you, how long does it take for you to get back at a nigga that played with you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, how long would you take to get back at a nigga that ever played with you?
Death.
That ever got you. So you go to the ends no matter
Why
what.
don't we go to the end?
Y'all see what he did? Y'all see how Queen's Flip just ended it by asking him that question. He said forever. Then he started singing and making a joke about it. He was not joking. He was dead serious. He made it seem like they were cool. The whole time he was waiting for a chance to get back for the pump it up. That's so funny. I keep saying that because it's funny. He was waiting. That is where, if that doesn't happen, if he just diss him in 6 p.m. in Calabasas, and why the fuck do I keep forgetting the name of that song? Diplomatic Immunity. If he just diss him those 2 times, if he the 6 p.m. in Calabasas diss, the diss in Diplomatic Immunity, if he just disses him them 2 times, I don't think this happens. But the no shopping diss, making fun of Pump It Up, is where the I don't care how long it takes. I'm gonna get this nigga back. No Shopping came out 7 years ago. He dropped them 5 disses about 7 years ago. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. When Drake made the No Shopping diss, that is when Joe Budden knew in his mind nothing was gonna make them cool again. Even if he acted like they were. He was never cool with Drake. He was never cool with Drake. He knew being on Drake's good side could possibly help him, especially in the early days of the podcast. And Drake was cool with Maul. So it made sense. I think I even heard Maul speaking about how he wanted Drake and Joe Budden to be cool. Now, don't get it wrong. It was funny when they would clown Joe about beefing with Drake. But I think Maul really wanted them two to be cool at that time because they were all friends. Maul was Drake's friend. Obviously, Maul and Joe Budden were friends at that time during the early days of the podcast. So he wanted them to be cool. Joe seen that as an opportunity. Okay, this is the biggest rapper in the world. He gave Views a horrible rating. Even after that, he really didn't rate any of Drake's albums high. He said good things about his singles, but a lot of people say Joe Budden got famous because of his review of Views. Actually, we're gonna come back to this and break that down. Let's ask Copilot something. How was Joe Budden's review of Drake's album Views? Let's hear it. A lot of people say this is what took him to the next level as a podcaster.
Joe Budden had some strong opinions about Drake's album Views. During an episode of the Joe Budden podcast, he referred to the album as uninspired and suggested that Drake was rapping for a younger audience. Budden even mentioned that Drake should start writing music for an older crowd. However, it seems Drake didn't take this criticism lightly. He fired back on Instagram, defending his work and emphasizing that artists should stay true to themselves regardless of opinions.
Okay.
The feud between them added some drama to the hip-hop scene.
What year? Okay. What year was Drake album Views released? Okay, 2016. 2016. So it started in 2016. Now, did Drake diss Joe Budden on 6 p.m. in I don't even know how to spell Calabasas. I told you. Let's see what I never looked up this up before. Let's see what it says.
Yes, Drake did take some subliminal shots at Joe Budden in his track 4 p.m. in Calabasas.
4 p.m., my bad.
During that time, Joe Budden had criticized Drake's album Views, calling it uninspired. In the song, Drake raps, "All of a sudden, I got people showing how much they truly resent me / their whole demeanor just spells envy." This line seems to be directed at Budden, who was vocal about his opinions on Drake's work. Additionally, Budden believes that Drake's reference to being a check picker-upper is also aimed at him, as they've never split the bill when going out together. The feud between them added some drama to the hip-hop scene.
There you go. You know me as a crystal sipper, check picker-upper. I thought we looked out for one another. Again, another Joe Budden diss. Diplomatic immunity. Now, we know this is about Joe, but I just want to confirm it. Copilot is saying that he dissed him in this, not me. It's Copilot, y'all. Did Drake diss Joe Budden in diplomatic immunity? There we go. Let's see.
Yes, Drake did take some subliminal shots at Joe Budden in his track Diplomatic Immunity. In the song Drake raps, SHT is complex like short and gas round tall ladies. Many observers believe these bars were directed at Joe Budden, who had previously criticized Drake's work on his podcast. However, Budden surprisingly didn't take offense, and even mentioned that he's no longer dancing to Drake's tune. The feud between them added some drama to the hip-hop scene.
That's not even a bar. He said shit is complex like short niggas around tall ladies. I gotta watch who I'm talking to like it's all ages. I seen budding careers turn to sit around and talk about other careers judging their peers. The complex part is because their show, Everyday Struggle, DJ Academics, Joe Budden, and the Desk was on Complex. Did Drake diss Joe Budden on No Shopping?
Drake indeed took some subliminal shots at Joe Budden in his track No Shopping. Although he didn't mention Budden by name, the lyrics were quite pointed. Drake rapped, "Pump, pump, pump it up / she got a good head on her, but I pump it up / I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff." These lines were a reference to Budden's hit song, Pump It Up. The feud between them added some drama to the hip-hop scene.
Co-Pilot saying this, y'all. And this is to the people in the comments in my videos before. Not to everybody, because some people know my knowledge of hip-hop is very deep. But for the people in on the other video, Co-Pilot is agreeing with me. Co-Pilot is way smarter than me, y'all. I'm just one person. Co-Pilot is an AI computer language. How do Co-Pilot know this? Because it's obvious. It's obvious. Queenz Flip, thank you, my brother. Thank you, bro. And I actually got some more content because I'm about to wrap this up. I got some more content about Queenz Flip and Joe Budden. All right, the Joe Budden podcast. It's a lot going on there. But anyway, 52 minutes in, I just had to speak on this. Queenz Flip confirming what I said about Joe Budden versus Drake. I told y'all when it started, I told y'all why it started, and I told y'all what was his goals and his missions. Y'all said I was a Drake stan. Now Queenz Flip is saying the exact same thing that I said. Now what? Queenz Flip know Joe Budden. He's with them all the time. They do a podcast together. They work together. Joe Budden basically Queenz Flip boss. Pretty much. I don't even like to use that word boss, but Queenz Flip is an independent contractor on the Joe Budden podcast. I'm going to put it that way. He said it, not me. Co-Pilot said it, not me. So is Co-Pilot a dick rider? I don't just say things, man. When you listen to hip hop for as long as I've been listening to it, things pop out at you. When I hear a rapper, I know immediately what they're talking about without anybody having to explain it to me. Some of y'all that was in my comments on my other video, y'all need things explained to y'all. Y'all are young. Y'all haven't been listening to rap that long. Y'all don't listen to deep rappers. Y'all don't analyze lyrics. Y'all just sing and dance, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're dealing with somebody like me, whose brain has been analyzing hip hop for over 20 years, you need to do some research. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to make Joe Budden out to be, or I'm not trying to create excuses to why Drake lost. I'm not saying, oh, the podcast world was against Joe Budden. No. Because one of the biggest streamers in the world, or excuse me, Drake. No, because one of the biggest streamers in the world was on Drake's side, DJ Academics. I'm simply pointing out that when Drake said, pump it up, Joe Budden never forgot that. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not trying to create enemies for Drake so I can make an excuse to why he lost. That's what y'all was saying in my comments. That's what I was doing when I came with this angle. One dude was even like, "Oh, you a Drake fan? Y'all shouldn't even say the word strategic thinking." Like, nigga, it don't again. I don't really have to think that hard. As soon as I heard him say pump it up and one hit wonder and one bar, you know who it's about. You know who it's about. In diplomatic community, he literally said, I seen bud. He's saying budding like a flower buds, like new careers, Budding, but he said it to make it sound like Budden. When you've listened to rap for a long time, you can pick up on stuff like that. It's not hard. It jumps from my ear to my brain. I immediately knew he was talking about Joe Budden and DJ Academics because he used the word I've seen knowledge from niggas who did not contribute. Knowledge. Why did he use the word knowledge? Because academics is somewhat synonymous with knowledge. Okay, so all the people from my comments in the other video, what y'all gonna say in the comments on this? Am I making this up? Did I program Copilot to agree with me? Did I hit Flip up and get him to agree with me? If I could call Flip, I'm not even gonna say that. The point I'm making is Joe Budden, look, this is how I'm gonna end this. I feel, or maybe I just want this, I don't know. I feel like Joe Budden and Drake's beef is gonna go to the next level. Please believe Drake seen that episode of Flip calling Joe Budden out. I guarantee you. Now, he could have known this before. But I guarantee Drake seen that. Whether he thought it or he may have knew it before. If I knew it, yeah, of course he knew it. This shit is about him. So I'm sure he knew it. But I'm sure Drake seen that. Flip confirmed it. Now it's up. He will not stop dissing Joe. When Drake album come out, he will be dissing Joe. It may be a bar here, a bar there. But he will be dissing Joe. I'm very confident in that. But I want y'all to get in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know how y'all feel. Okay? Because I don't think this is over. I think it's going to be a long time until it is. Maybe not a long time. But when I say Drake is coming back for revenge, I'm gonna be real. I think he's over Kendrick. It's just the other people who are involved. Some of the media, some other rappers. He probably wanted other people to, stand up for him, which Wayne did. Recently, it was video Wayne rapping. He wasn't rapping They Not Like Us. He's changed the beat to they don't like us, which basically saying he is us, which basically saying I'm on Drake's side. He had the OVO aisle chain holding up, which that was good to see. That was really good to see. Kendrick don't want no problems with Wayne. I know what y'all about to say. Wayne's Pusha T, this was trash. It was. Wayne's Pusha T, this was ass. But that was when Wayne was making a lot of weird music. Since then, he done cooked some stuff, man. I'm not gonna say he back to the old Wayne. That's crazy. I would never say. And people y'all stop saying that. Nothing is better than the old Wayne, 05, 06, all the way to 09, 010. That's the greatest rapper of all time. That's better than Biggie. That's better than Jay-Z. That's better than Pac. That's better than Ice Cube. Nobody's ever gonna. That's over. That'll never happen again. But what I'm saying is, Wayne is in better shape than he was during the Pusha T stuff. He's in better lyrical shape. So Kendrick, and I'm not saying he should be scared of Wayne or diss Wayne or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, tread lightly, Kendrick. All right, tread lightly. Okay, man, that's the show. Queenz Flip, salute to you on calling out Joe Budden on something nobody else would have called him out on. His hate for Drake, how pump it up lives rent-free in Joe's head. And I said it. Nobody believed me. Nobody cared. Queenz Flip just confirmed it, man. So get in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think. Strategic Thinking Media Platform, Urban AI, Copilot. We turn it up, man. I'm learning some AI stuff through some courses. So I'm going to try to up the ante, man. I'm researching how to make my own AI, which is going to take a minute, but it's going to be a little bit different type of AI. You feel me? It's going to be different from Copilot, but I love using Copilot. Copilot is great. Copilot knows a lot. Copilot knows more than a lot of people in my comments, and this proves it. But I'm not going to get into that, man. Thank y'all for watching the show. Strategic Thinking Media Platform, Urban Artificial Intelligence. I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. Peace.